मज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone back again. After some break, we are continuing this series. We are looking at 11th chapter Bhagavad Gita based on the commentary of Sripad Ramanujacharya. So as usual, we will begin with Yamunacharya's verse that talks about the summary of the entire chapter. Okay, that's our starting point as usual. एकादशे यातात्म्य साक्षात्कार अवलोकनम दत्तमुक्तम विधि प्राप्त्यो भक्त्येकोपायतः तथा. So Yamunacharya says that in the 11th chapter, Krishna speaks about the divine eyes required to behold the true nature of Bhagavan are said to be given in the 11th adhyaya. Similarly, bhakti is said to be the only means to know, behold and attain Bhagavan. Okay, so there is only one word which is emphasized a lot in this, vidhi praptayoho. Vidhi means to know and prapti means to attain. Okay, so one needs to know and then finally attain Bhagavan. But in between knowing and attaining, there is something called as to behold. Okay, so that is the topic of the. So if you see, the 10th, 11th, and 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is to know the opulences of Krishna. The 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is to attain. But the 11th is the middle, which is to behold. So that means, so it's like something, you want to attain anything in this world, anything, even an ordinary thing, suppose somebody wants to attain, first one should know about it. And then one should even have some, a vision of it as to how it will be. And only then one works towards actually obtaining it. Correct? So similarly, Yamunacharya and Ramanujacharya here, they say that one first has to know about Krishna by hearing about him, which is the 10th chapter. And then there is attaining Krishna, which is the 12th chapter, which is bhakti. But after knowing, there is this step called as beholding also. Okay, so which kind of gives a vision. So that vision basically helps one in a very accelerated fashion perform bhakti. So that is the sequence which Arjuna goes through. So Arjuna hears in the 10th chapter, in the 11th chapter he beholds, and finally in the 12th chapter he attains by bhakti. So that is the sequence here. And that is the context of the 11th adhyaya of Bhagavad Gita. Now, what we have actually looked at the first 34 verses already. So I'm not going to, go into all of them once again. But basically, in the first few verses, Arjuna is requesting the special darshan, and Krishna is giving the divine eyes. And then finally, Sanjay is also having a description, and then Arjuna is describing what he sees. Okay, and that is, and then Krishna basically says, Kalosmi loka kshayakrit pravritto. This is still the 34th verse which we have already seen, right? Now from the 35th verse onwards, there is a new theme which commences, so we will focus on that, which is basically the prayers of Arjuna, which are again very, very interesting. So let's go into this. Yeah. Sanjay Uvacha etat shrutva vachanam Keshavasya Kritanjalir Vepamana Kiriti Namaskritva Bhuya Eva Krishnam Sagad Gadadam Bhita Bhita Pranamyam. So the translation is Arjuna, who was wearing a crown, on hearing this utterance of Sri Krishna, who is full of love towards those who seek refuge in him, and the one who is the controller of Brahma and Rudra, bowed down at the lotus feet of the Lord and joined his hands together, prostrating before the Lord, overwhelmed with fear, once again spoke to Sri Krishna in a faltering voice, trembling with fear. So this is the translation. So this is Sanjaya basically speaking to Dhritarashtra about what happens to Arjuna after seeing the universal form. So Keshava is the name of Krishna given here, and as we know, Keshava is the name actually given by Lord Shiva. There is a Puranic verse where Lord Shiva addresses Krishna as Keshava, basically addressing him as the Ka and Isha. That means one who is the Lord of Brahma and Shiva. So he's called as Keshava. And in this verse, Arjuna is offering obeisances 3 times. So Ramanuja gives a lot of emphasis on that. 3 times he is offering obeisances. So the first thing is Namaskritya. Namaskritya means after hearing instructions, Arjuna is offering obeisances, which is kind of right, something very spontaneously it happens. After hearing all the instructions, he offers obeisances. That is Namaskritya. But then again it says Bhuya Eva. Once again he offers obeisances before offering prayers. That is Pranamya. So there are 3 words here in this verse which talk about offering obeisances. One is Namaskritya, one is Pranamya, and one is Kritanjalihi. So it may seem like a repetition, but all these 3 words are used in a slightly different context. Namaskritya means he's bowing down to the Lord spontaneously after seeing such a beautiful form. And then before offering prayers, he is again doing pranama, that is pranamya. And finally Kritanjali, that means after folding his hands, he is unable to remove his hands out of respect and fear. So his hands are always like this only, Kritanjali. Amjali iti Kritanjali. That means this particular mudra is called Kritanjali because Amjaliti iti Kritanjali. That means it brings the person in front of us to tears. If you fold your hands in front of someone, it brings him to tears. It automatically, makes that person feel some kind of softness towards you. So it was very interesting that in the G7 summit, it seems that many of the world leaders also were doing this Kritanjali Namaskar pose, right? So this is what Arjuna does here. So Kritanjali. So all 3 he does. And this verse starts with Kirita here. Why it is said Arjuna was wearing a crown? Kiritanjalir, it says, right? Kiriti means one who is wearing a crown. Even in Prabhupada's translation, yes, Kirita is that only. Kiriti means Arjuna who is wearing a crown. So one may say, why is it being said like that? Arjuna wearing a crown. Arjuna means he's wearing a crown only. So what is the big thing about it? So the answer is that because he offered obeisances, that crown touched the feet of Krishna. So it has become very special. Okay, so that is why it has been emphasized over here that Arjuna was wearing the crown, because that crown is not some ordinary crown now. It has touched the feet of the Lord. So it has become very, very beautiful. Okay, so this is what Sanjaya says. And now today's our discussion is centered around the prayers of Arjuna. Let's focus on that. So this is from verse number 36. Arjuna vacha sthane rishikesha tava prakritya jagat prahrishyanti anuprajete anurajyate cha rakshamsi bhitani disho dravanti sarve namasyanti cha siddha sangaha. Arjuna says, O Lord, who controls the indriyas of his bhaktas, the whole world of gods, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Yakshas, Vidyadharas, Kimpurushas, Kinnaras are all deriving great satisfaction and enjoyment by chanting your glories. They are filled with love for you, just like how parents have for their children. The terrified Rakshasas are scampering in all directions. All the hosts of Siddhas, including the gods Gandharvas, are favorably disposed towards you make their obeisances unto you. Okay, so this is the translation of this particular verse, right? So the focus here is in this particular verse. The main word actually is sthane. Okay, so it actually begins with sthane. Sthane, Prabhupada translates as rightly so, and here the translation given by Ramanuja is befitting. Okay, so the point is that if you remember, I made this point earlier that when Krishna showed the universal form, it was not only Arjuna who was seeing it, but all the higher beings were also able to see the universal form. That means the Siddhas, Gandharvas, Charanas, Yakshas, everyone was able to see the universal form. Somebody may say, why they were able to see it? They had not asked for it. So the answer is that this was part of the greatness of Krishna, which Arjuna had to see. How all the higher beings in the universe are reciprocating with the universal form of the Lord. This was also part of the greatness of Krishna, and hence Krishna gave that facility to everybody to see it, so that Arjuna could realize what is the position of all these higher beings in connection to Krishna. So this is the point actually. So that's why everyone was able to see. Everyone means except the human. So Duryodhana, Dushasana, and those on the battlefield did not see the universal form, but all the higher beings were able to see. Right? And that's what Arjuna is saying here. So Arjuna is in this verse, he starts the prayers by saying how everyone is reciprocating on seeing the universal form. So prahrishyanti means priya atiti lavadiva akshimana pritaha. That means one must feel happiness in one's eyes and mind. Priti, priya. One must have a priya atiti lavadiva. That means if some example is given, just like if some atiti comes to your house, some guest who is very dear to you, then there is a happiness that you need to show in your eyes and mind as well. It's not that so in one's eyes also there is a happiness that one has to show, and in the mind also. So when there is happiness shown in the eyes and the mind, then it is called as prahashyanti. Praharishyanti, and that is exactly what is being used here. Jagat Praharishyanti. That means Arjuna wants to say the entire world is joy, is filled with joy on seeing this particular form. Okay, so basically the Jagat here refers to all the gods like Gandharva, Siddhas, Yakshas, all these higher beings, because they were all seeing, right? So that's what is being said, that they were all seeing, and when they see the universal form, they are all deriving great satisfaction and enjoyment by seeing it. And then furthermore, Arjuna is also saying that some beings are terrified, like the Rakshasas, they are afraid, they're running in all directions. And some, like the Siddhas, are offering obeisances. And for all this, the word used is sthane. Sthane means it is befitting. That means it is befitting this beautiful, this magnanimous universal form of yours, due to which the Rakshasas are running away, the Siddhas and the Devas are offering prayers, that means the devotees are feeling satisfaction, and the Rakshas kind of people are running away in fear. So this is all befitting your form. So that is the word sthani here. So sthani means it's befitting. Prabhupada says it as rightly so, but here the translation used to be befitting. So it's rightly so that all these people, they reciprocate in this particular fashion on seeing the universal form. Okay. Now let's see what Arjuna is going to say after seeing this particular form. Kasmachate na namaren mahatman gariyase brahmanopyadikarte ananta devesha jagannivasa twamaksharam sadasat tatparam yat. O most exalted one, O greatest of all, why should not one bow down to you, who is the foremost creator of even Brahma? You are the material cause and efficient cause of the whole universe. You alone are the seed of the whole universe. O infinite Lord, Lord of all the gods, Lord who has the universe as your abode, you are the indwelling Atma and have the nature, existence, and activities of all those under your control. Imperishable Jivatma, who is in the bonded state of samsara associated with Prakriti, the manifest gross Prakriti, which is the state of diversification by names and forms, the non-manifest subtle Mula Prakriti, which is incapable of divisions and diversities by names and forms, and beyond them, the liberated Jivatman, who is free from the association with Prakriti. Okay, so here Arjuna is basically saying, why should these people not offer obeisances to you? Okay, so it's like, there are two ways in which you can make a particular statement. Like, for example, someone can say, Arjuna is a great archer. Okay, that's one thing to say. Another way is to say, is there anyone else who can be an archer other than Arjuna? Okay, so the second is a little bit more superior, right? Because you are making it absolutely clear that there can't be anyone who is superior to him. So similarly, kasmat te nameren. That means to say that everybody should offer obeisances to you, that is one level of statement, one kind of statement. But a one superior way of saying is, why should one not bow down to you? It's indicating the same thing, that everybody must bow down to you, but it's kind of more superior in the way it is being presented. And that's what Arjuna is doing. He's saying, how can people remain without offering obeisances to you? Why like that? Because of all these qualities. Adi Karta, you're the initial Karta of everyone, you're Mahatma, you're Jagannivasa. So this Jagannivasa has been elaborated a lot here. Jagannivasa has many meanings. One meaning is one who resides in every object in the world. Like here, if you see, the translation given is the Lord who has the universe as your abode. That means Krishna is present in everything in this universe. So that is why he's called as Jagannivasa. Right? Another way of Jagannivasa is the whole Jagat is on him. That means he is bearing the entire Jagat. That also is Jagannivasa. But here Jagannivasa has been translated like this, that one who resides in everything in this Jagat. So why it is said like that? So on this, there is a lot of commentary given here. And this commentary basically points to our this oneness and difference. We always talk about it, right? Oneness and difference both exist. Okay, so the point being made is, in this world, when we address someone by a name, whom are we referring to? Let's say somebody's name is Ranganatha. Okay, and I mean, I'm not talking about the Lord Ranganatha, a human being. His name is Ranganatha. So the Ranganath, this particular designation refers to whom? If you ask this question, does it refer to the Atman? Then the answer as such is no, because the Atma is constantly changing bodies, and in next life it may have some other name perhaps. Does it refer to the body? That also doesn't make any sense. Why is the body called Ranganath? Because ultimately, if you say, hey Ranganath, come here, then that person actually turns and starts coming to you. So the answer is, it is actually referring to the Atma in this particular body, correct? That means in this particular body, there is the Atma. And that person, when you call Ranganath, it's not just the body, but it is the person whom you are addressing who is in the body, because he comes to you, right? And this is with everything. Even if it is a cat or a dog or a lion, when we call an animal, or when we call out to any creature, we are actually addressing the Atma which is present in that particular body at that time. Okay. Now, then somebody may say, but then, as we have already learned in the 10th chapter, the 10th chapter was what? It was about how the Lord is the Antaryami in everybody's heart. That means, taking that same argument ahead, ultimately, like Krishna says, right? Among all the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Among the Devas, I am Indra. Among the stars, I am the moon. He keeps saying this, right? So what does it mean? If you remember, what does it mean when Krishna says that he is Indra, he is Chandra, he is Shiva, he is Brahma? The idea is, in that body there is the Atma, and ultimately there is a Paramatma also sitting inside, right? So it is only because it is the Paramatma who is empowering and making this Atma do various things. So there is this famous verse, Anta Pravishta Atma Jananam Sarvatma. Anta pravishta means after entering inside every Atma, Jananam Shasta. Shasta means he controls. Who controls? Sarvatma. Sarvatma means the supreme, the Lord as a super soul, Antaryami. Okay, so this Antaryami who is there, he enters everybody's Atma and he's sitting there and he's controlling. Shasta. Shasta means to control. He's controlling. So the understanding of the 10th chapter is being shown here in Jagannivasa. That means anything when we address any person, any object in this world, whether it is animate or inanimate, this table, this wall, this house, everything has ultimately the Paramatma only as the Shasta, as the Antaryami in it. And he is the one controlling, and he is the one due to which so many wonderful opulences are being exhibited either by the animate or the inanimate things. Okay. So the point is, any address to anything in this world ultimately is addressing the Paramatma only. So just like there are 3 levels. At one level, one may think we are addressing or calling out to the body or referring only to the matter. But at a deeper level, we understand that no, you are not calling the matter. Just like I said, you are calling someone by your name, your son or your daughter, you are calling by name. You are not just calling to the body. You are referring to that person, Atma, who is seated in that body. And then based on the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, taking that theme ahead, ultimately you are addressing the super soul in that body, because it is the super soul only who is controlling that body. And it is only because of the super soul that person is able to do so many things. Like we all know, right, from the Bhagavatam, that when the Krishna left the world, Arjuna says that the same arrow, same Gandiva, everything is same, but I'm not able to do anything now. Because that Shasta, that Paramatma had gone away from his life, figuratively. I mean, of course, Paramatma was there in Arjuna's body, but the point is, Krishna, when he decides not to empower the person or allow him to do something, then the person cannot do anything. So when you call Arjuna, hey Arjuna, come on, take your Gandiva and start shooting. At one level, it is the body. At the second level, it is the Atma, Arjuna, who is there in the body, who is activating the body to do things. But ultimately, it is the Paramatma who is sitting inside, right? Who is directing, permitting this Arjuna to do these things. Okay, and that is the context of the word Jagannivasa. That means the Lord is occupying every animate and inanimate thing in this world. Okay, so this is that oneness. We always talk, right? Oneness and difference. So there is this oneness as well. Where the Lord is present everywhere. And you have to see this translation like this because of the continuity with the 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita. Right? Because in the 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita, we basically learned this only, that how the Lord is there in everything. So that is the translation here. And then after saying this, what is Arjuna saying finally? So Arjuna is saying, you're Jagannivasa. So because you're Jagannivasa, you're worthy of respect. Everybody should bow down to you because you're unique. Correct? You're not some ordinary person. You're unique. You're there in everything. Nobody can say, I am in every animate and inanimate object. We are there only in one place. But he is the only person who is there everywhere. Then Tvam Aksharam. Look at how he's translating Aksharam. You're the Jivatma is bonded in the state of samsara associated with Prakriti. So Akshara is basically referred to the Jivatma who doesn't change though the body changes. So that means the Lord is the Jivatma as well. And the Lord is not just the Paramatma, but he is also that means the Jivatma is also being represented by him only. Then Sat Asat. Now this is a very interesting translation which requires some commentary. See, what does Sat means? So here Arjuna is saying you are Sat and Asat both. When you say that you are Sat and Asat, there are many meanings to Sat and Asat. Prabhupada actually translates it as cause and effect, which is actually this translation. The translation used by Ramanuja is the same translation of Srila Prabhupada. That's why I said earlier that many translations are very similar. At one level, somebody may say Sat means something that exists and Asat means something that doesn't exist. Like for example, this table is Sat and the mirage is Asat, or the horn of the rabbit is Asat. So somebody may say, can you use the translation in this context? Because when Arjuna is saying, oh Lord, you're Sat and Asat, what does that mean? Does it mean that Lord is also the mirage? No, it doesn't make any sense, right? So that's not the correct meaning. So let's take some other meaning. There are some other meanings also of Sat and Asat. Sat also means something that doesn't change. Like the Atma doesn't change, he can be called as Sat. And Asat means something that is always changing, like matter. It is always changing. Can we take that translation here? So he says, no, you cannot take that translation because just previously Arjuna said Akshara. That means in Akshara, already the Jivatma was included. So repetition is considered a fault. So if you have already addressed the Lord as Jivatmas as well, then how can you again say Sat indicating the Jivatma? So you cannot do that. So he says Sat means, so now he goes, so this is like, just two words. Proper translation, cause and effect. It's coming from this translation only. It's a very, very deep concept. Sat and Asat means he says it is like cause and effect. That means like milk and curd. So this is the Vedanta philosophy. The Vedanta philosophy is the theory of transformation. So some of you may recall, Prabhupada writes in some places that Vaishnava understanding of Vedanta is the theory of transformation, not the theory of illusion, Vivartavad. So there is Parinamavad and there is Vivartavad. Parinamavad means the theory of transformation. Vivartavad means the theory of illusion. So Advaita Sampradaya has come up with the Vivartavad. That means they say it is illusion. Okay, so the Vaishnava Vedanta says no, nothing, something cannot come from nothing. Okay, that means anything that is manifest must have some other state. So that means this entire world ultimately it is coming from something called as Mula Prakriti. Mula Prakriti is called Mahat Tattva. Right? Mula Prakriti or Mahat Tattva, these are synonyms. This whole Prakriti is coming from that only. And ultimately it goes into that. So Vaishnava scholars give a simple example. They say just like a girl is playing in the house, so she has been given a ball of mud by her parents. And nowadays nobody plays with all this, but it's a very traditional example. Okay, so there is a ball of mud the girl has, and from this ball of mud, the girl, what she does is she makes different animals. She makes a monkey, she makes a lion, she makes a tiger, she makes different animals, and then she's playing. She's engrossed in her game. Then after some time, her mother says, hey, come on, you have to come for lunch now. So then this girl, what she does is, before she kind of winds up, so all those various animals that she had made, monkey, lion, tiger, everything she takes and merges into the original mud only. Once it is again back into the mud, then you cannot say where was the monkey, where was the lion, where was the tiger. Correct. So this is transformation. Everything comes from Mahat Tattva and it goes back into Mahat Tattva. But everything is coming from something only. There is nothing coming, nothing which is coming as an illusion like that. And it's just like they're wearing a dhoti kurta. This dhoti will always remain. This matter which is there, it may be burnt. If burnt, it can become ash. That ash can enter a plant, something. It is transformed. Okay, so this Srishti which is there, which is transformed and which has various name, form, qualities, is called as Sat. It is called as Sat because it exists in some fashion. Okay, so that is what Prabhupada actually calls that as effect. And here the translation is more elaborate. The manifest gross Prakriti, which is in a state of diversification by name and form. So this is called Sat. Now you have to remember this because when I come to the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is a very important concept called Om Tat Sat. And that is going to be connected to this. So we will come to that later. In fact, that's a very, very important concept. So I'll remind you of this particular verse at that time. But Sat means anything that is effect, that is having name form. Because it is called as Sat because it has an existence, right? Like currently the table is existing on which my computer is there. It is temporary, but currently it is there. It is a brown color table, right? So it has a name, it has a form. So it is Sat. And Asat means something that's unmanifest state, which is the cause, which is Mula Prakriti, which is the Mahat Tattva. That is the cause. And in that Mahat Tattva, there are no divisions. So there is no name, form, etc. Okay, so it doesn't exist in terms of name and form and quality. And that is the reason it is called as Asat. Okay, so here Arjuna, so see, this is how the translation is. So if you see the translation has the entire Vedanta inside it. Okay, and this is the Vedanta also, which is translated in the Bhagavad Gita as it is as cause and effect. And this particular, so Arjuna is saying you are only that. That means you are all these transformed items in this world, and you are only that Mahatattva also, or the Mula Prakriti, in which everything is going to go and merge. So this is all you, and hence, why should one not bow down to you? This is your greatness, correct? So that is how he says in this particular verse. Right. Let's go ahead now to verse number 38. Tvamadideva Purushah Puranasa Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidanam Vethasi Vedyam Chaparam Chadama Tvaya Tadam Vishwamananta Rupam. So look at the translation. You are the material cause of the whole universe, and you have the creation as your sport. You are the supreme person sung in the Purusha Sukta. You are the most ancient person, but appears new every time. You are the Atman of the whole universe, and you have the universe as your body, and you are the ultimate support for the whole universe. You are all the knowers, as you are the Antaratman of all the Jivadma, and you are the object of knowledge. You are the supreme abode Vaikuntha. By you, the entire universe is pervaded. Hence, O Lord, who possesses infinite forms, as every living entity in the universe is your form. Okay, so Arjuna is continuing his prayers. He's basically saying that you are the ultimate shelter of everyone. Now here the word used is Vetasi. Okay, so the Vetasi word is emphasized here. Veta means the knower. You are the, so what does Vetasi mean? Veta means one who knows. Who is that one who knows? The Jivatmas. They are the knowers. Okay. So that means ultimately all the Jivatmas are knowers, and as the Antaratman, as the super soul, you are the ultimate knower because you know everything that every Jivatma knows. So that is the translation of Vetasi. So these translations are connected to the 10th chapter, mind you. You have to remember that. You know, Arjuna is talking all these prayers after seeing 10th and 11th chapter. In 10th chapter and 11th chapter, basically Arjuna saw how everything is in Krishna and Krishna is in everything. So that is why all the words are translated like that. It's not that any random translation is taken. Vedyam means anything we see or understand is ultimately Paramatma only. That means when we say Krishna is the object of knowledge, what it also means here is even when you are trying to understand anything in this world also, ultimately that thing is also Krishna only. So that is why it is all connected. So suppose let us say somebody is a farmer, he's trying to know about different crops, the seeds, the seasons, which crop he should sow in a particular season and so on. All that is also Krishna only, right? So that is how this is seen. Any knowledge is seen as Krishna only. So see, this is the perspective. You need to have that understanding. Then it is fine. So somebody who doesn't have that understanding and who sees things separate from Krishna, his understanding is Maya. Okay, but the person who is able to see even normal things and discuss about it, but as long as he has that understanding that, okay, even though I'm studying agriculture right now, and I'm talking about seeds and seasons and which crop to grow in which season, ultimately it is all Krishna only. That understanding, if you have, you're perfectly situated. So it's not just about so that's why the understanding is considered very important. That decides who you are. Okay, and that is how you're supposed to see these words here: Vetasi, Vedyam, etc. Okay. So in fact, Ramanuja here he also says um, there is a great difference in an ordinary person's creation and the Supreme Lord. He says an ordinary person, like a potter, he makes pots. The pots, even when he makes the pots, he is separate from the pots. He has made the pot and the pot is separate. He is separate, the potter who made the pot. He has not gone into the pot, so to speak. But then he quotes this famous Upanishadic verse, which we have also read in several purports, Eko Bahusya. Ego Bahusya means the Supreme Lord only becomes many objects. That means He is there everywhere. Okay, so it's not that the Lord, when He has created or when all these animate and inanimate things are existing, they are not just separate from Him. He is inside that also. Okay, so this is that oneness we have to see. See, this 10th and 11th chapter continuously keep reminding us about that. That you have to see Krishna in everything. Okay, because everything is ultimately in Him only. Okay, so that becomes very important. So he says that the Lord is not just like an ordinary potter who has created the pot, but He is not inside the pot. He is separate. But in Krishna's case, whatever He has done, He is inside that as well. And then again, let's continue the prayers. Okay, so we're going with the next one. वायुर्यमो अग्निर्वरुणश्च शाङ्कः प्रजापतिस्त्वां प्रपितामशाच नमो नमस्तेस्तु सहस्रकृत्वा पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते. Okay, you are the great grandfather of all. You are Vayu Bhagavan, Yama, the god of Dharma, Agni Bhagavan, Varuna Bhagavan, the moon god, Brahma, the lord of creation. All these mighty devatas are you. Obeisances to you 1,000 times. I bow down to you again and again. Okay, so here again, if you see the translation, if you see the words here used by Arjuna, he is saying, oh Lord, you're only Yama, you're only Vayu, you're only Agni. Why is he saying this? Again, same point, right? Because Arjuna has just heard the 10th chapter and seen the universal form. He understands that whatever Indra is there, Vayu is there, they are all able to do whatever they are able to do only because the Paramatma is sitting inside them and directing them. Without Paramatma inside the heart of Vayu, Vayu will not be able to do anything. So that is why addressing Krishna only as Vayu is also fine, okay, because he is the Antaratma, the Paramatma of Vayu. Similarly Yama, similarly Agni, similarly Varuna, similarly the moon, similarly Brahma and all the Prajapatis. But then Ramanuja says one thing, that why is he saying Prapitamaha? Because when he says Prapitamaha means the great grandfather. So who is this great grandfather? See, grandfather is Brahma. Everybody knows that. Now, Brahma is generally referred to as the grandfather of the creation. Who is great grandfather? Is there a Devata who is like great grandfather and in his heart there is Paramatma? So he says no. This great grandfather is referred to Krishna himself, Lord Narayana. He only is that great grandfather. Okay, so there is a difference here in this verse between Prapitamaha and the other words used, like Yama, Agni, Varuna, Shashanka, Prajapati. All the others are basically devatas in whose heart there is Paramatma, and to call that devata only as Krishna is fine. Because ultimately it is that Paramatma only in that devata's heart who is addressing. Like just like for example, when we chant the Gayatri, we all know the Brahma Gayatri at one level it addresses the sun god, one may say, but at a much higher level, actually, it addresses Surya Narayana, who is the Paramatma in the heart of the sun god. Right? We all know this, right? Those who chant the Brahma Gayatri, we know that we are not just addressing the sun god and asking him to direct our intelligence towards him in his service, but actually we are beseeching that Paramatma who is there in his heart, right? Who is to do that. So that's why like I mean these verses have a very big application as well in terms of the entire Vedic process. Like Ramanuja says that even when we chant the various Vedic mantras, so somebody may say, "Arey, this Vedic mantra is glorifying Indra, this is glorifying Chandradev. So why should I chant something which is glorifying some devatas?" He says, no, ultimately, everything in the Veda is glorifying Sriman Narayan and Krishna only. Because when you are reciting these prayers or stutis, which at one level may seem as if addressing some Devata, the person who has the understanding knows very well that you are addressing the Paramatma in his heart only, and not just that Devata. Right. It is in that mood that here Arjuna is saying that you are only Vayu, you are Yama, you are Agni and all that. But then he says that as far as that Prapitamaha is concerned, the great grandfather, that is Krishna himself. That is not some other devata in whose heart Paramatma is there. Correct? So in this way, he is offering and Namo Namaste. So he is offering obeisances to all these personalities. So this is the point. This is the translation of this particular verse. Let's go ahead now. नमः पुरस्तात् अत पृष्ठतस्ते नमोऽस्तु ते सर्वत एव सर्व अनन्तवीर्यामितविक्रमस्त्वं सर्वं समाप्नोषि ततोऽसि सर्वः. Hey Sarva, who is everything in this universe, omnipresent, obeisances to you in the front. Purasthat namaha. Purasthat means in front of you I am offering obeisances. Ata prishtastu te namaha. And obeisances to you from the back too. And my salutations to you from all sides indeed. Nama astu sarvata eva, on all directions. O Lord, who has infinite valor, O Lord, who possesses infinite prowess, you pervade all beings and entities. Hence, you are indeed all the beings. Okay, look at the translation again. And you are indeed all the beings. So, if you see this, in fact, Prabhupada also says the same thing. You are only everything. Okay, Prabhupada translates it as you are only everything. Ramanuja says you are only all beings. So what is happening here, Arjuna? He is like, so an example is given here. Just like there is a place, one of the Divya Desams in Tamil Nadu is called Tiruvallikeni. It seems that in this Tiruvallikeni, the Sakara Pongal, the sweet that you get is very amazing. And it seems that if somebody goes to Tiruvallikeni and actually gets the Sankara Pongal to honor, he's so happy that he will keep telling again and again, oh, the Sakara Pongal was so tasty, it was so delicious. I've never had such Sakara Pongal and so on. So similar thing has happened to Arjuna. When he saw something like this entire universal form, he is doing pradakshina of it mentally and is offering obeisances on all sides. And so just like, the deities are very beautiful, and sometimes we know that the deities come out in a palki, in some procession in a temple, their devotees like to see the deity from all sides. Like there is a front view and there is a side view also. And sometimes there is a back view also. From back also, when you look, there is a special beauty in that entire palanquin, right, on which the Lord is sitting and he is going. Okay, so similar thing has happened to Arjuna. He is now doing a protection of this universal form and he is offering obeisances on all sides. He is saying that because from every side the Lord is looking very beautiful, right? So he's doing parikrama and he is appreciating. And just like, and again, if you see the translation, the same thing, right? See, now if you see the translation, Ananta Virya Amita Vikramaha, he has infinite valor. Okay, so as far as the Jivatmas are concerned, they are called as uncountable. Okay, but as far as Virya is concerned, we don't say uncountable to strength. We say it is immeasurable, right? Immeasurable. Apamirita Virya. That means Apamirita means you cannot measure the Virya, the valor of the Supreme Lord. So in this way, Arjuna is basically glorifying. He's like ecstatic on seeing this beautiful form of the Lord, and he's glorifying. And again, the same translation, Tata asi sarva, you are indeed all beings. That means what is happening is when Arjuna saw the universal form, every creature in this universe, he saw that in Krishna. So he understood that you are only all this, right? So he saw everything in Krishna, and previously he had understood Krishna is in everything in 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Because Krishna had said that I only enter everybody's heart and I am only that. I am the lion. I am the, like that, right? I am the whale. So everything Krishna had already said that he is entering everything, and now Arjuna saw everything in him. So he's saying you are only everything. So this is that oneness, right? So he's seeing that. He's saying that, hey, you are only everything. Like that he's glorifying. Okay. Now let's go ahead. in the translations. Yeah, now see, now what happens now? Till now, Arjuna, see, if you see the entire flow of the 11th chapter Bhagavad Gita, initially Arjuna described the universal form, what he saw. Then he described the feelings of the devatas and others. You remember? We started today by saying that Arjuna remembered how the Rakshasas are running away in fear, Siddhas are offering obeisances, devatas are offering obeisances and trembling. So Arjuna described the Virat form, then he described the feelings of devatas and everybody else. Then Arjuna started talking about the prayojan of this. Prayojan means the purpose. What is the purpose? Basically, this particular understanding that ultimately everything is Krishna. Okay, that understanding he got. And now Arjuna, what he's doing is reflecting the personal relation of Krishna which he has had. Okay, so that is what is going to start from verse number 42. सकेति मत्वा प्रसभं यदुक्तं हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति अजानता महिमानं तवेदं मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि. Hey Krishna, the one who never lets down his devotees, hey Supreme Lord of immeasurable greatness, after experiencing your infinite glories through your cosmic form, being unaware of this unbounded greatness of yours, out of delusion, thinking yourself as just like me, or out of affection, moving around very closely with you, I have considered you like an ordinary friend. I have addressed you brazenly as Hey Krishna, referring to your black complexion, Hey Yadava, being born in the Yadu dynasty. Okay, so actually this verse is not complete. You'll have to look at the 43rd verse also to get the complete meaning. That's why if you see Prabhupada in his translation 41, 42 has put it together. So what is happening over here is Arjuna is basically talking about three reasons why he may have made some mistake. One thing is saying that I didn't know your glories. Ajnata, ajanata. Ajanata means I didn't know you were so great. Second thing he says is pramadat, out of illusion. Because of delusion, I didn't know, I thought that you are just like me. And the third thing he says is pranayena vapi, out of affection. Right? Because you are affectionate to your friend and your close family member, you generally take them like they are very casual in the interaction with a family member or a friend. Right? You don't, with a friend or a family member, you are never very formal always. And Arjuna and Krishna are treated as same level. They were cousins of the same age and, they were always very thick friends. So, pranayena vapi. So, three reasons he says. First, he says, I didn't know. Second, he says, I was also illusioned. And third, he says that, out of too much affection for you, I would be very kind of casual with you in your interactions. And that's what he's going to say in the next verse. So this is the 42nd verse. कृतोसि विहार शय्यासन भोजनेषु एकोतवाप्यच्युत तत्समक्षं तक्षामये त्वामहं अप्रमेयम्. Hey friend, by someone of infinitely lower status than you, for the sake of fun, I have slighted you, who are to be honored at all times, while at play or while lying down or while sitting or while eating, or at all other activities that we did together, either when we were by ourselves or even in presence of others too. I have been disrespectful to you in so many ways like this. I will make you forgive me by pleading. Okay, so it's a very interesting verse. If you see the translation, at the end, Arjuna is saying, Kshamaye. Kshamaye means, I will make you forgive me. Yeah, generally, nobody will say like that. He's not just asking for Kshama. Kshamaye means, if you see the word, Aham Tvam Kshamaye. I will make you forgive me by pleading. Arjuna is kind of very confident that I made some mistakes, but I'm very, very confident that you are going to forgive me today. You are not going to hold it against me. What is it? This point, because I was very close to you because of those three reasons mentioned in the 41st verse. I was very casual with you when we were sitting together, lying down, eating. We did so many things together, either when we were by ourselves or in presence of others. We were very casual. So it is said that, just before the war, there is a scene. It's a beautiful scene. You can just picturize this. We all know Dhritarashtra had sent Sanjaya as a messenger to Dwaraka, where the Pandavas were there, to try to tell the Pandavas that why don't you ask, why don't you all just stay in Dwaraka only and beg? It is there in the Mahabharata. Dhritarashtra is such a cruel person. He's sending Sanjaya to tell Pandavas that sit in Dwaraka only and beg, don't come to Hastinapur. So at that time when Sanjaya comes, it is said that Arjuna was in Krishna's inner chamber, bedroom. And initially the Dwarpal did not allow. But then Sanjaya insisted that he wants to meet Krishna and Arjuna. So the Dwarpal is checking with Krishna and Krishna says, okay, no problem, send that fellow inside. And when Sanjaya goes inside the bedroom of Krishna, it is said there was one large bed. Okay, and in that large bed, 4 personalities were there. There was Draupadi, there was Arjuna, there was Satyabhama, and there was Krishna. And the scene is described that Krishna was lying on the lap of Satyabhama and his feet were on the thighs of Arjuna. And Arjuna was lying on the lap of Draupadi. In this way, these people were sitting over there and they were just, joking and having a good time. When Sanjaya saw this, he actually comes back and tells Dhritarashtra, "Arey Dhritarashtra, you are finished, man. There is no chance you have against these people." Because Sanjaya felt, my God, this Arjuna is so intimate with Krishna that, can you imagine? I mean, who will, even if someone comes home, we generally keep them in the drawing room only, right? Rarely we take them to the bedroom. And that also in the bedroom, your wife is there, his wife is there, and you're all sitting on the same bed and joking with each other. This indicates very high level of intimacy. And when Sanjaya saw that Arjuna has such intimacy with Krishna, and since Sanjaya knew very well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he understood that, array, this Dhritarashtra has no chance only. All his children are going to be finished. And that's the point being said in this verse also, right? Arjuna is reminding Krishna, array, we all would sit in the same bed together. Shayyasana Bhojaneshu, we would joke. I would sometimes say, hey, Krishna, you're a black guy, man. That's why your name is Krishna. You're so dark in complexion. That's why you have such a name, Krishna. So I would joke with you in so many ways. And now I'm feeling very bad that I would joke like this with you. But I'm sure that you're going to forgive me. Shamayetvam, you will surely forgive me. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Okay, so like that he says. And then he continues the praise. We'll just see there are 4 more verses. We will complete the series because this is like, this is the series of all the prayers of Arjuna. Pitasi lokasya characharasya tamasya pujyasya gururgariyan natvatsamosya vyadika kutonyo lokatrayepya pratima prabhava. O Supreme Lord of incomparable greatness, you are the unconditioned Father, the inherent Father of this world, which consists of all moving and non-moving living entities. You are also the teacher, and hence you are exceedingly worthy of worship by this entire universe. In these 3 worlds, Kritakam, Akritakam, and Kritakritakam, I'll just tell you what that is. No one else can match your greatness. You alone are your match. And no other being can even match even a single auspicious quality of yours. Then what to talk of equaling you in infinite auspicious qualities which you possess? Such being the case, then do need to even tell if anyone else can be greater than you. Okay, so here the focus is, Arjuna starts by calling Krishna as Apratima Prabhava. Apratima Prabhava means, O Lord of incomparable greatness. Okay, so the Vaishnava commentary here is, you cannot give any example for Krishna. No example for Krishna is a perfect example, it is said. Because he's of incomparable greatness. So the example is given, like suppose somebody wants to say, how knowledgeable is Brihaspati? And then he says that, oh, Brihaspati is much more knowledgeable than me. What a foolish statement it is, right? I mean, there is no comparison even. How can you compare Brihaspati's knowledge with somebody like us? So if you want to compare Brihaspati's knowledge, there has to be someone to compare with, right? So in the modern world, there is no one you can compare with Brihaspati's knowledge. So similarly, he says any example given to Krishna, like for example, sometimes we may say Krishna has lotus-like eyes. So it is said when we say Krishna has lotus-like eyes, it is said that example is given only to compare one aspect, that the color of the eyes of Krishna somewhere resembles the color of the lotus. But we cannot say Krishna's eyes are only exactly as beautiful as the lotus. No, the lotus beauty is finite. You can understand Krishna's eyes are unlimitedly beautiful. So it is said no example is actually perfect. That is why apratima prabhava. You are incomparable in your greatness. We can't give any example for you. But still, he gives some examples. Okay, so Arjuna here is saying that, oh Lord, you act as the father of all. Okay, so one may say, how come example is given? After saying you cannot be given example, you are giving example, you are saying his father. He's saying even in this example, it is not an ordinary example. See, everybody is the father of only 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 children. But here, Krishna is the father of everybody. And why is called as the father? So Ramanuja gives the commentary. He says, father has 4 roles. You understand the duty of father. He says, father has the role of Srishti, Raksha, Jnana and Danda. 4 roles the father has to do. Srishti means he is the creator. The father is the creator of the child. Raksha, he gives protection. He gives Jnana or knowledge. And he gives punishment as well. So he punishes as well. So in the universal form, Arjuna could see all these aspects, that the Lord is punishing, the Lord is like, through his teeth, he is chewing all the Rakshasas and the evil elements. So everything Arjuna could see in the universal form. That's why he's calling him as the father of all. Because the Lord is again the Srishti, the Raksha, is protecting, he's giving knowledge and punishment. All 4. Father means to do all 4. And the commentary says mother means primarily to give affection, but father means he should give all 4. Okay, so if somebody is not giving all these 4 things, he is not considered a father. Creation, Raksha, maintaining the child, giving Jnana, giving knowledge, and punishing him as well time to time. So all 4 must be done. That Guru, and here he is saying that you are the Guru also of everyone. Again, Guru means Gukarastu Andakarasyat Rukarastan Niroditaha. That means Guru has 2 syllables in it, Gu and Ru. From Gu means Andakarasya, Gukarastu Andakarasya. That means the syllable Gu in Guru means Andakar. And Ru means to cut. That means Guru means one who cuts the Andakar. So that is the point here. And the Lord is the topmost Guru. Okay, so he is the ultimate Guru. So that is why he's calling him as father and teacher. And then he's saying, you're the Lord of the 3 worlds. Now here see the 3 worlds. Now there are many ways in which the worlds are categorized. Here the 3 worlds are categorized as the lower 10, 1 and 3. There are 14 worlds, right? If you see from our this thing, then it is Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. These are 7. And bottom 7 are Atala, Vitala, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, and Patala. These are bottom 7. So these 14 are divided as 10, 1 and 3. Why 10, 1 and 3? The lower 10 are called Kritakam. Kritakam means they are always created and destroyed. That means every night of Brahma, these lower 10 planetary systems are destroyed. So they are called Kritakam. Then there is the Maharloka, the 11th from bottom. That is Krita Kritakam. That means it is not burnt completely, but it is so hot over there that all the people from Maharloka go to Tapaloka. Nobody can stay in Maharloka when the fire is destroying everything down. So that is Maharloka. And then the top 3 are Akritakam. Akritakam means they are never destroyed. This Tapaloka, Janaloka, Satyaloka, they are never destroyed. So this is the 3 words. Okay, so he's saying that you are only all these 3. No one can match your glories and everything. So in this way, Arjuna is praying. And then what he does? he's again seeking forgiveness. Okay, now look at the next verse. Okay, so we just have 3 more verses to go on. Tasmat pranamya pranidaya kayam prasadaye tvamahamishamidhyam piteva putrasya sakheva sakyu priya priyayarhasi deva sodam. As you are the father, teacher, most adorable and unrivaled duty of compassion and other auspicious qualities, I surrender, prostrate, and pray unto you, the Supreme Lord of all, the one who is most worthy of worship and adoration, O God of gods. Just as a father forbears when his errant son prays to be excused, and a friend bears with his repentant friend who begs for forgiveness, you, who is very dear to me, ought to bear with me, who is dear to you, for my faults. Okay, see, the whole point is, by seeing such a big universal form, Arjuna is in great awe. He's again and again seeking forgiveness. So he's saying that Pranidaya Kayam. Pranidaya Kayam means the body. Pranidaya means to literally compress the body. Just like somebody is standing like this with open chest, that's an indication of pride, right? But when you're standing in front of a very great person, you really crouch and your kaya, your entire body kind of shrinkens. And that's the word to be focused here. Pranidaya kayam. That means Arjuna's entire body kind of shrinks in front of Krishna out of humility, understanding that we are insignificant. And he's basically saying that, oh Lord, please forgive me. So I'll just go ahead now. 45 and 46. So in 45th verse, he's saying, Adrishtapurvam rishitosmi drishtva bhayena cha pravyatitam mano me tadeva me darshayadeva rupam prasida devesha jagannivasa. On seeing your most wonderful, magnificent cosmic form, which was never seen before, I'm delighted. However, by seeing the dreadfulness of that form, my mind is tormented by fear. My Lord, O Lord of Brahma and all the celestials, O abode of the universe, as the entire universe of moving and non-moving entities was seen gathered together in one spot of the Lord's cosmic body, I pray to you to shower your compassion on me and please reveal to me your earlier form, which was very pleasing to look at. Okay, so this is the beginning of the request of Arjuna that please show me your original form. Okay, I don't want to see this form, show me that form. Okay, so why he is saying like that? Because in this verse, the highlight here is 2 words, Bhaya and Ananda. So if you see, there is Rishito. Rishito means happiness, and there is also Bhayena. Because Ramanuja gives an example, just like sometimes if a goat is tied, okay, and there is grass kept in front of the goat, but little further away from the goat, there is a tiger also, which is kept tied. Then the goat is looking at the tiger and very fearful, and he's looking at the grass and feeling happy. He doesn't know what to do. So similarly here, he's saying that on seeing the universal form, there were some aspects of the form which were very wonderful, but then there was that fearful aspect of the universal form also, which is crushing and devouring everything. So seeing that Arjuna is having delight, he is feeling delighted, at the same time he is fearful also. So both things he is undergoing. So he is saying that please, the fear is seeing him crushing everything. The Lord is crushing everything and he feels very fearful. And of course, there are so many features which the devotees like to see. So ultimately, Arjuna says that show me the previous form, because the advantage of the previous form is that gives only happiness. Okay, that form of yours gives only happiness. There is no fear in that form. So I want to see. And this is the last verse for the day today, 46th verse. Kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam ichchami tvam drashtumaham tateva teneva rupena chaturbhujena sahasra bhavo bhava vishwamurte. So he's saying here, I desire to see in your earlier form. Which is that earlier form? Wearing the crown, having the mace, holding Sudarshan Chakra. Hey Supreme Lord, who is revealing the cosmic form, having innumerable arms. Oh Lord, who is having the universe in one corner of the cosmic form, please appear in your earlier form with 4 hands. Okay, so why 4 hands? Because Ramanujacharya says that Krishna was always with 4 hands. So he says that Krishna was born to Devaki and Vasudeva. We all know in the Bhagavatam, he was born with 4 hands. And then what happens that time? Vasudev tells Krishna that please hide your two hands, because Vasudev was afraid that Kamsa will see this baby Krishna having four hands, he will understand this is only Narayan and he will come to attack. So, out of fear, wanting to protect Krishna, baby Krishna, Vasudeva had requested the Lord to assume two hands. So Ramanujacharya says that Krishna that time became two-handed and he went to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, all the pastimes he did was with two hands only. But then when Krishna came back to Mathura to kill Kamsa, after Kamsa was killed, once Kamsa was killed, then Krishna again manifested four hands only. Why? Because this two hand was only there because of Vasudev's request out of fear of Kamsa. So when once Kamsa was killed, he says here that he was always with four hands. So that is the difference between Vrindavan Leela and Mathura Dwarka Leela. Okay, so the Vrindavan Leela is in two hand and Mathura Dwarka is four-handed. And that is what Arjuna is also saying here. Teneva Rupena Chaturbhujena. I want to see your original form of four hands. Why? Because that is the form that Krishna was always manifesting, right? Later in life. And that's why we see also that Poundrak, when he was imitating Krishna, he had two extra hands. He was trying to pretend to be Krishna. Okay, so that is the commentary here. So Arjuna is saying that I want to see your four-handed form and I want to see one Kirita only. See, Kiritanam here is singular, one Kirita, not this hundreds and thousands of Kiritas. Okay, I just want to see one Kirita. This form I want to see. Please show me this form. With this, the prayers of Arjuna are done. And the last section of this particular chapter, we will see next time. Right? Anybody with any question or comment, we can take. And then, anyone with any question or comment here?
Dandavat, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Dandavat. Go ahead.
Damodar Shamdas.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, you said that there are two verse Vad and Parinavad. So Prabhupada, when he says that temporary means we say that Vaishnava say the things are temporary, but they are
real.
They are real, but they are temporary. So that is same thing as Parinavad, right?
Yeah, that is Parinamavad. Vivartavad means theory of illusion. That means it is not there only. See, the Advaita Sampradaya philosophy is Vivartavad. Vivartavad means the theory of illusion. Parinamavad is the theory of transformation. So the Vedanta, the Vaishnava scholars describe Vedanta as theory of transformation, not the theory of illusion. And that is what is cause and effect. Right?
So how do these Vivartavad they explain?
Yeah, so that's what now the Vivartavad is first of all very bewildering. So if you see, that's why they give the example of the snake and the rope, right?
Rope, right.
You see the rope, we feel it is a snake. But these fellows, they say that actually nothing is there. But the Vaishnava understands that no, the rope is there and snake is also there somewhere else. Yeah. That is why the rope is reminding you of the snake, right? If the snake only was not there, why will the rope in the middle of the night remind you of a snake? So basically, the Parinamavad, the Vaishnava Vedanta approach is everything is real and has some basis. Okay, it's not that it's an entire concoction. As in, it's not that it is just not there and it is only made in your mind. Actually, the rope also exists, snake also exists. Just that here, out of illusion, you thought the rope to be the snake. But they all exist independently. Whereas these people think that everything is just an illusion like that. So it's not like that. So that is the point. Actually, the Advaita philosophy is quite complex and bewildering, even difficult to understand. I would say. Vaishnava understanding of the Vedanta is more real and it's more easily connectable to science as well. As in, it's real. Yeah. Any other comment or question? Anyone? Okay. Gita is universally accepted scripture. Your last question. In Gita, Lord Krishna in his Virat Roop showed to Arjuna and Devatas that Shiva, Brahma, and appear from him in like you mentioned. Then why a big chunk of people say Shiva is bigger than Krishna? Okay, see, this basically, so see, if you actually, if anybody studies not only the Gita, but also all the scriptures with a very open mind, Vaishnava as a conclusion is very easy to obtain. That means the Vaishnava conclusion, right? Because the Vaishnava conclusion is the perfect conclusion. All other conclusions are imperfect because they're stopping at some particular point, right? So there are some Puranas that will glorify Lord Shiva. So someone who has attachment to Shiva in order to obtain certain benefits from him to enjoy the world, they will stop with that understanding. They don't progress from there. That is why their understanding is incomplete. But if anyone actually tries to understand all the Vedas, Puranas, everything in toto, then to come to the Vaishnava understanding is not at all difficult. That is the point. Right? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. The Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanand.